everyone, Kelly here, and today I just want to talk about some of the books that I am planning on reading for October. And I am just so excited that it is finally fall. It's my favorite time of year because I'm not a huge fan of hot weather, but I like to be outside. So this is the perfect time where it's a little chilly. I can wear long sleeves finally, and I can still be outside and be comfortable, but not be overly hot or really buggy. And chill, crisp air, wind, leaves. I love it all. So I'm very excited for the fall season, and I have themed a lot of my October reading after the fall season. And first of all, I'm giving myself a little challenge for fall. I really love reading short story collections, or I have really enjoyed a lot of the short story collections I have read, but I sometimes forget to pick them up. I wait months and months before I pick up a short story collection. And so I gave myself a challenge that this fall, I am going to read one short story every day for the entire season of fall. So we're already a week into fall, right? Somewhere around that. And I have been doing that. I have been reading one story a day. And I want to kind of theme them that they're mostly going to be Gothic or kind of spooky, or just have that feeling. They just give me the feeling of fall. So I'll show you kind of the collections I'm pulling from. I might not finish all of these collections because I might go in and out of certain ones, but there will be probably a few of these that'll get finished because, it's 90 days or something, that I have to accomplish these throughout fall, because I'll go through one a day for the entire season. I'm not going to beat myself up if I miss a day or anything. It's just kind of challenging me to remember that I like short stories. So the first collection that I've already started is called Maria and Other Stories by Maritza K. Rubio. And this one, Maria is a novella, and then the rest are short stories. So I have actually started this already. That's what I started at the beginning of fall. I'm several stories into it. And this one is kind of literary kind of stories, but then also have kind of this theme of, it feels very autumn. There are some stories that are about brujas. There have been some stories that have kind of a creepy element to them, or just have this ominous feeling to them. So and even the cover feels very fall-like in its coloring. So yeah, it's going along with the season for me. I also have a collection of Daphne du Maurier stories, and this is The Birds and Other Stories. And I have already read The Birds, but I would like to reread it because it's so far is my favorite by her. And this one has a few other stories. I think I've read a couple of them in here, but I haven't read the whole collection. And these are kind of, her stories aren't necessarily full out scary. They are more ominous feeling, and I really like that in fall, that kind of ominous or what's anxiety kind of almost inducing story. That unsettling, I guess, is the more appropriate term for it. So I might like to finish this entire collection because I think there's only about 7 or 8 stories in that one. And then I have an Oscar Wilde collection. This is all of his short fiction, and most of it is not themed to the fall, but there are this has all of his short story collections. And there's one that's crime stories or murder mysteries. I think they're also satire and funny as well. So they won't be really, really scary or anything. But I think I might want to intersperse those in there. So I'm not reading this entire collection. I'm reading the 4 stories that were part of that other collection, the crime story collection. And the one that I've heard of before is the Canterville Ghost. I know that that's one of his popular short stories. So there's just 4 of these I'm going to read, and then I'll finish the collection another time. And then I also have Gothic Tales by Elizabeth Gaskell. And, obviously these are all her Gothic short stories. I don't remember how many are in this, but I would like to at least read a few of these during this fall season, because Gothic, it'll be fun. And then I'm going to also be reading some Edgar Allan Poe stories. I started this collection. This is all of his works. And I started it, I can't remember if I started it last year or the year before, but I've read a lot of them. And I still have more to go because I'm just taking my time to get through this entire thing. I've skipped around, and then kind of now I'm going from the beginning through those stories I haven't read yet. I'm also reading some of these with Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. We read some of these together last year, and so I think we have 5 of them we're gonna read this year. So I'm definitely gonna read 5 that I read with Tiffany, but then I might read some more too, because it would be nice if over this fall and next fall, if I finish this entire collection. by Edgar Allan Poe. And then I have 2 more short story collections I'll pull from that I have on Kindle. I have an e-arc of a short story collection by C.J. Tudor. I think it's called A Sliver of Darkness. I'll put it here to make sure I have the title correct. And she does like ones that are slightly horror, but also mostly like thriller. That's her novels, and I've read a few of her novels, and they usually have like a little speculative element too. And so I'm really looking forward to see what her short fiction is like. So I have, like I said, I have an e-arc of this one. I think it might come out next month. I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember the exact date this comes out, but I want to definitely read that one since I have an arc of it. And then I also have a Kindle version of Toad Words and Other Stories, which is a short story collection by T. Kingfisher. She's an author that I just really enjoy. I've already read one of her short story collections and loved it. I think this one is more themed to being like more like fairy tale type stories, because the other collection I read did have a lot more spooky elements in it. So I'm not sure if this one has spooky elements, but even so, I think her stories always give me kind of an autumnal feel, even if they're not full-on horror stories. So I would like to intersperse some T. Kingfisher in over this season as well. So those are all my short story options. And like I said, I'm going to read or try to read one a day for the entire fall season. And then I just have a couple books that are like to feel to me it's the right time of year to be reading them, and they're ones I've just been meaning to read. I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I've just been meaning to read this book for a long time, and it just feels right to be doing it in the fall. So I would like to get to that one. And I think I could also count this one for Booktuber and say that I'm participating in Booktuber. Even though I didn't like make a TBR for that, this would fit that. And I could just say I am participating in that readathon. And then I also want to read Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, because I've been reading all of her books this year, and I've read 3 of them so far. And this one just feels right to be doing in October because it does have kind of a Gothic feel to it, and it's a shorter one too, so I can squeeze it into my TBR and continue to read all of her books and hopefully finish all 6 of her main novels this year. And then I have an arc that I want to get to. I have Orion and the Starborn by K.B. Hoyle, and this one was an arc I was sent from Owl's Nest Publishing, and this comes out on November 15th, so I would like to read it in October so I can give you a review of it so you know if you want to read it. And this is following a boy named Orion, and I think he discovers some things about his past and that maybe he isn't actually from Earth. And it just has a beautiful cover, and it actually feels very autumn to me, this cover. So I'm excited to read this and let you know my thoughts on it so you know if you want to read it. And then I have a couple buddy reads that I'm going to be reading. I have The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, and I'm reading this with a bunch of other people online. And I'm looking forward to this one because I've heard this is very much Gothic type story. I actually know nothing about this. I've just heard good things about it, and I have it on my shelf, but I think of it involves like other books as well. Looks like there's going to be a ghost just from reading the back. I don't know, but I am looking forward to reading that. And then the buddy read that we're doing for the Fall Into Reading Challenge, we are reading Practical Magic together by Alice Hoffman, and we are reading this from October 10th through the 16th. So if you would like to join me in reading this with the whole group of Fall Into Reading Challenge hosts, just let me know. You can either message me on Instagram, we chat on Instagram, or you can message me down below and tell me what your Instagram handle is, and I'll add you to the group read. I usually start the like create the group chats the week before we start reading this, so it'll be towards the beginning of October that I'll actually create the group, and we can all chat about it. We read it for that week, the 10th to the 16th, though we do leave the chat open for like another week or 2 if you're not able to finish it in that week. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this book because it's been around for a while or watched the movie, and it's about several generations of women who are thought to be witches. And I'm really looking forward to it because I do love the movie, but I've heard the book is different, and I know this is a whole series, there's prequels and all that, so I'm looking forward to reading that. And this also leads me into the rest of my TBR, which I didn't actually bring the books to show you because I already did a video that I posted last month, I think, or earlier this month, that was like, do I like witch books? And that I was just planning on reading a bunch of witch books during the fall season, and I already named all the books I was going to read in that video, so I'll link it down below in case you're curious which witch books that I'm thinking about picking up, but I've already started reading some of those books from that TBR, and I will just continue to read them. And then my plan is in November to do a video where I say conclusively, do I like books about witches, and kind of like what genre of books about witches do I like, because I have like a bunch from different genres, historical fiction or kind of like cozy family dramas or romance or fantasy, all that, so I can figure out what kind of witch books I like and be able to more carefully curate my TBR around that theme in the future. So that's it. Those are all of the things that I am planning on reading in October. If you've read any of these and want to talk about them, I would love to hear from you down below. Or if you want to join us for the Fall Into Reading Challenge group read of Practical Magic, let me know and I'll add you to the list. And I'll see you next time. Bye.